At 79, Sri Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram. Suvarna Varno Hemangaha Varangaha Chandanangadi Viraha Vishamashunyo Vrutashi Achalaschalaha. Suvarna Varnaha Hemangaha Varangaha Chandanangadi Viraha Vishamashunyaha Vrutashi Achalaschalaha. Suvarna Varnaha means golden hue. Hemangaha with golden limbs. Varangaha beautiful limbs. Chandanangadi smeared with sandal and adorned with armlets. All these four names describe the beautiful personality of Supreme Being, especially as Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is supposed to have a golden hue and he had golden limbs. Of course, his limbs were beautiful. He was always fond of applying sandal paste on his person and he was adorned with beautiful armlets. And such a beautiful person appears to be delicate, but he can suddenly transform into a Viraha, a slayer of the villains, a slayer of the powerful, unrighteous persons. In this respect, he is unequaled, Vishamaha, not equal to anybody. But the same Supreme Being is basically he is devoid of any gunas, no attributes. So it is almost like a void. He is called Shunyaha. He is absolutely, he is a Purna Purusha. He is, all his desires have already been fulfilled. There is no desire left for him. So he's called desireless, Gritashihi. And the such supreme person is described as immovable as well as movable. Immovable because he is already present everywhere. Moving because through always active, always appearing through every individual, he is the same person. Achalaha, Chalaha. Let us see all these names in greater detail. Suvarna Varnaha, golden hue, golden complexion. Mahavishnu, Supreme Self, the pure Self, illumines. It is illumining pure awareness. It is extremely effulgent. It reminds us of the rising sun or even the setting sun when we can see a golden hue spread all over the sky. Now, Shruti says a seer, a saint who can see the supreme being in this golden complexion, he shakes off all deeds, all merits and demerits. He becomes stainless, attains the state of equipoise, that is samatvam. Yada vashyaka pashyate rukmavarnam. Now, not only the Supreme is having a golden hue, every part of his body, every limb of his body is supposed to be of gold. Hema Angaha, called the golden limbs. Yaha Eshaha Antaraditye Hiranmaya Purushaha. This again draws attention to the sun god in whose of Mahavishnu is said to be there. So Mahavishnu is called Surya Narayana. His mind is Brahman, sun is Brahman. The golden person seen in the disk of the sun is Narayana, is the infinite Brahman. That's why the Lord is described as functioning through the orb of the Hiranmaya sun, of the pure golden form of the sun god. The being, naturally, a person with golden limbs and golden complexion is most auspicious. Varangaha, Vara Angaha, beautiful limbs. Vara here can also mean lovable, likable. Narayana is the being whose form is supremely lovable, especially to the yogis of devotion. For instance, when Krishna was born, he was immediately seen with Chaturbhuja. He was seen with four arms, beautiful four arms, and Srivasta mark was visible on his chest. Seeing the divine baby, the father Vasudeva went into raptures of happiness and bliss. The beautiful baby was found smeared with sandal and adorned with armlets. So he was called Chandana Angadi. Chandana Angadi. Now, here Chandana means something giving joy, joy giving. Angada, as we know, refers to armlets. So, so that this name Narayana is one who is having attractive armlets, one who is made with sandal. And this is the image which Madhavi Jayadeva sings in one of his Ashtapadis. The first line of it reads as under Chandana Charchita Neela Kalebara Pita Vasana Vanamali. Chandana Charchita, applying where sandal smeared. Neela Kalebara, the Supreme, Rama, Vishnu, Krishna, they're all supposed to be having dark complexion. Neela Kalebara, or we say blue complexion, like the vast sky. Pita Vasana, they're very fond of wearing Pitambara, yellow clothes. Vanamali, wearing a garland of forest flowers. Chandana Charchita Neela Kalebara Pita Vasana Vanamali. A beautiful Ashtapadi. Now, the Supreme, if you think of these four names, he appears to be very, very delicate. But suddenly, at no notice, he can immediately transform into a Viraha, a slayer of the powerful evildoers like Kamsa, Shishupala, or in Ramavatara as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. The person who is always smiling, the person who is always pleasant, can transform into a warrior and easily tackle these persons. He is a destroyer of the strong and heroic but evil minded persons. In order to uphold righteousness, that is Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Mahavishnu takes various incarnations and destroys the powerful and daring asuras in battle. Here, Slayer also refers to who destroys the powerful and mighty negative forces which may be residing in our hearts, like Dvandas. We call them pairs of opposites, likes and dislikes, joys and sorrows. See, these are the ones which hold us back. Because of these, all these abilities and attributes and great qualities, we say there is no one who can be equal to him in any of these aspects. He's called Vishamaha, unequaled. Now, Arjuna, when he saw Virat Rupa of Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Pitasi lokasya characharasya त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समः अस्ति. Nobody equal to you. न समः अस्ति अभ्यधिकः कुत अन्यः. When there is nobody who can be even equal to you, how can there be anyone who is superior to you? Abhyadikah kuta anyaha. Lokatrayepi apratima prabhava. In all the three worlds, O apratima prabhava, there can be, that is one of inconquerable, incomparable power. You are the father of this world, of both the moving and non-moving. Chara achara. Pita assi lokasya characharasya. Then twamasya pujyaha. You are to be worshipped. You are Guru Gariyan, greater than the greatest. Guru means great. Gariyan, greater. You are greater than the greatest. O Apratima Prabhava. O one, O Supreme Being of incomparable power, in all the three worlds, Lokatrayepi, in all the three worlds, there is none equal to you. Nat Pat Sama Asti. How can anyone excel you? Abhyatikaha Kutonyaha. Being unequaled, he is not capable of even being explained, understood, comprehended by anyone. So he is called Shunyaha, representing void, which we cannot even explain. Here, Shunya or void means total absence of. There are three factors. Total absence of equipments of experiences. That means the body and mind and intellect. This is the equipment which is available to us to experience the world. Two, absence of fields of experiences. That is, objects for the body, emotions for the mind, thoughts of the intellect. Then, third one, the experiencer. The experiencer, what we call perceiver through the, the indriyas of the body, the feeler through the mind, feeler of emotions of the mind, thinker of thoughts of the intellect. You see, all these three are related. Perceiver through the indriyas, jnanendriyas, and karmendriyas of the body, feeler of emotions of the mind, thinker of thoughts of the intellect. All these three, one who does not have any of this is called Shunyaha. In the state of Brahman, the pure consciousness, all the above three are totally absent. As the devotee of Hari transcends them all. When a devotee is able to transcend all these three layers, then he becomes one with the Supreme. So, Lord, his infinite nature is without attributes. Seemingly, then, he is the void. But we have to understand very clearly void is not non-existence. Void is not non-existence. What we refer to void is pure existence without the object, emotion, thought, which is very peculiar and specific and unique to the mortal world. The immortal supreme is free from these things. He is called void. Actually speaking, he is Purnaha, one without any unfulfilled desires. Purna Kamaha, all desires already are fulfilled. He is desireless, called Dhrutashihi. He means desireless, one who has no need for any desires. He does not even need anybody's good wishes from anyone because he has everything that anybody can think of. The infinite Lord, he is always perfect and transcendental, has no need for any of the objects of the world to make him complete. The state of incompleteness, this is the one which gives rise to all desires. He is free from incompleteness. Here, it can also refer to boy Krishna. Ghrutashi can also refer to boy Krishna. Ghrita means ghee. Krishna is the one who is supposed to have stolen butter and ghee from the cowherds in Vrindavan. So he is called Dhritashihi. Now, next two names are apparently contradictory. He is called Achalaha and Chalaha. Let us understand the implications of these meanings. The one without any unfulfilled desires is a non-moving Achalaha, immovable. Supreme is described as Achalaha, immovable, non-moving. Non-moving we call him because he is already there. He is all pervading. He is present in every place. So he cannot move to any place where he is already there. He cannot move as there is no place where at any time he is already not present at that particular place and the particular time. So he says he cannot move. Where can he move? He's already there everywhere. So that is why most of these Mountains are called Achalaha, Himachalaha, Venkatachalaha. Now Lord Venkateshwara is called Venkatachalapati, Venkata Achalapati, because he cannot move from anywhere, he's already there. Bhagavad Gita, verse 24, chapter 2, describes, one of the verses describes the Supreme as Achalaha. Nityaha Sarvagataka Sthanuhu Achaloyam Achala Ayam Sanatanaha. The self is Ayam, means the self. The self is eternal, Yaha, Sarvagataha, all pervasive, Sthanuhu, stable, Achalaha, immovable, Sanatanaha, and ancient. Similar description is there in verse 3 of chapter 12 also. They described as Sarvagatam Achintyoyam, Sarvagatam Achintyam, Kutastham Achalam Dhruvam, Sarvagatam, Sarvatragam, omnipresent, Achintyam, unthinkable, Kutastham, unchangeable, Achalam, immovable, Dhruvam, eternal. So, in this sense, the Supreme is Achalaha. But as the all pervasive Supreme, now the Supreme looked at from the point of his all pervasiveness, he is non-moving. But his vibhutis or his manifestations, like say the wind god, are always moving. Chalaha, moving, chalaha. By the juxtaposition of these two opposite seeming qualities, chalaha immovable and chalaha moving. So we are reminded of the apparent world of plurality, constitutes the realm of change, which also is nothing other than the immovable Atman, which is interpreted through our personal equipment, that is the body, mind, and intellect, its experiences. Now, in unconditioned form, unconditioned by the body, mind, intellect, the Lord, the Supreme, is considered to be motionless. But the same Supreme, conditioned by body, mind, intellect, which are like vehicles, conditioned by these vehicles, he apparently seems to move. Then he becomes Chalaha. Now, this seeming contradiction between Atala and Chala can be explained by a very simple example. The relationship is something like a traveler. Suppose I am traveling in a train. I am sleeping in a berth. Am I moving or not moving? When I am sleeping on the berth, I am not moving. But what about the train? The train is moving. So am I moving or not? So it is like this. For example, a traveler, though sleeping, is able to travel all the night. In fact, we travel from city to city, but without moving, because I, as a traveler, am conditioned by the vehicle which carries me. So the traveler who is not moving is also moving. I think this example more or less gives a broad idea of the seeming contradiction. So at this stage, we can conclude this verse. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.